Hospitals are among the least secure places, which makes the thought of a serial killer stalking the corridors unsettling, especially if the perpetrator is a nurse. Nevertheless, several patients have been victims of Charles Cullen, who is currently serving several life sentences for killing a minimum of 29 patients. Charles Cullen, a registered nurse, had a long history of being fired for suspicious behavior. His downfall started when a co-worker and close friend Amy Luffren began to suspect him of being responsible for an increase in unexpected deaths at Somerset Medical Center. The events after Charles Cullen starts working at Somerset Medical Center are depicted in the Netflix movie, The Good Nurse. Let's take a deeper look at the nurse serial killer Charles Cullen. Cullen was born in 1960 and grew up in West Orange, New Jersey. As the youngest of 8, Cullen's father passed away when he was an infant, and his mother died in a car accident when he was a teen. He joined the U.S. Navy in 1984, but was later released after making a attempt. He soon started nursing school at Mountainside Hospital in Montclair and graduated in 1986 as a registered nurse. 2 years after graduating from nursing school, he claimed his first victim with a lethal dose of lidocaine. Between 1988 and 2003, he worked in many Pennsylvania and New Jersey hospitals. According to New Jersey local news, Charles Cullen admitted to killing 29 people while working in New Jersey and Pennsylvania hospitals. The actual number of victims, however, might be substantially higher. Cullen was taken into custody in 2003 and accused of killing 29 patients. Cullen was taken into custody in 2003 and accused of killing 29 patients. He confessed to killing patients under his care by infusing lethal mixtures of cardiovascular and insulin medications into IV fluid bags, turning off ventilators, and giving medication without a prescription. He called some mercy killings, yet many of his patients weren't actively dying. He also discussed his prior attempts, saying, "I tried to end my life repeatedly because I never liked who I was. I did not think I was deserving of anything." According to CBS News, Cullen used drugs like digoxin and insulin to kill his victims. His victims varied in age and condition, with some being prepared to be discharged from the hospital when Cullen injected them with medications that would eventually kill them. You may wonder how he avoided being discovered during his killing spree. He had a record of accusations at several facilities. Still, no one followed through with a proper investigation into the deaths. At one point, an elderly patient alleged he entered her room and injected medications, although he wasn't the nurse assigned to her. Yet, even with that first-hand witness, nothing was done. Cullen was fired from another hospital for concealing heart medication in a sharps container. His spree lasted 15 years and was finally discovered in 2003. Reverend Florian Gall received care at Somerset Medical Center in Somerville, New Jersey. Although Gall began to make improvements during his stay, he unexpectedly died. Blood tests revealed a deadly concentration of digoxin, and an unapproved amount of the medicine was the direct cause of his death. In December 2003, Cullen was taken into custody. He admitted to giving his very ill patients lethal amounts of drugs, claiming that their suffering should come to an end. The actual number of murders is thought to be upwards of 400, earning him the title of the most notorious serial killer in U.S. history. While working at Somerset Medical Center, Cullen met Amy Luffren. Luffren, a single mom suffering from cardiomyopathy, was a night nurse struggling to make ends meet to cover her healthcare costs before becoming eligible for health insurance. The two quickly become close, with Cullen helping Luffren care for her 2 young daughters while concealing her illness from co-workers at the hospital. However, when two patients passed away unexpectedly, detectives began to suspect Cullen. Loughran ended up being the one who helped detectives put together their case against Cullen. She stated that she knew he was killing people when detectives gave her the paperwork showing the medications Cullen was removing from the Pyxis. During an interview with CBS, she said, "There were numerous withdrawals of deadly medications you wouldn't order except if someone desired to kill a person." Working with the detectives, she began gathering evidence against Cullen. In the movie, Amy assists the investigators by donning a wire to capture Cullen's confession. The next scene finds Amy and Charles meeting in a neighborhood diner, where Amy persistently tries to pry information from the killer nurse. As Amy anxiously tries to get Charles to admit to his horrible deeds, Lindholm's strategy shifts to a more emotionally confrontational one. Charles is portrayed in the movie as thwarting Amy's attempts. However, he does so with a lot of resistance after going through many internal agonies. Charles Cullen appears to have been on the verge of giving up, although he ultimately decided against it. The truth, however, is much different, as Amy Loughran stated in an interview with Newsweek. Charles Cullen was far more relaxed and calm during the events shown in the diner scene. Soon after the encounter at the diner, Cullen is taken into custody by the police. Amy visits her former colleague in jail, where he finally admits his crimes. The good nurse ends Amy's tale by revealing that she had heart surgery and now resides in Florida. Despite Charles's detention, their relationship continued as Amy visited him frequently and even wrote him a few letters throughout the trial. They continued to stay in contact before Cullen realized Loughran had turned against him. She even paid him a visit in prison. She recalled that he stopped responding to her letters once he learned she was working for the New Jersey State Prosecution. "Up until that point, I had seen him dozens of times in jail. I genuinely desired answers and closure and to know whether I had unintentionally hurt anyone. I believed that I wanted to pretend that he wasn't mercy killing and that my friend Charlie, whatever he could have been, had gone." Although several of Cullen's extremely sick victims did not have life-threatening illnesses, he had claimed he was putting them out of their suffering. Loughran says she never received the information she wanted from Cullen, but she did learn another technique Cullen used to kill his victims. With some victims, he took them off their sedation to wake them up and then administered a paralytic so he could watch them struggle to breathe. She continued, "I had to learn to forgive myself for never noticing it." Initially facing the death penalty, Cullen's sentence was later lowered as a result of a plea agreement. However, he was given 11 successive life sentences and is currently incarcerated at Trenton's New Jersey State Prison. Per court documents, his earliest opportunity for parole would be June 10, 2388. This concludes our discussion of Charles Cullen. What intriguing details about him did you learn today? Please tell us in the comments. If you discovered something new today, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons for more videos.